All right, Storm Chasers, we are back with another episode of Soul Connection. Dr. Linda Salvin, how are you today?
I'm good, Storm. Hi, everybody. How are you?
Man, I tell you what, this is I turned 30 this week.
I know you're growing up. You're coming out of Saturn return during a Mercury retrograde and a week after a solar eclipse. You should be going bonkers emotionally.
Yeah.
But the exciting part for me is when you first came to me and I said a few years ago, oh, you're going to be entering your Saturn return. Oh, you're going to go through Saturn return. It's going to get a little funky and bumpy. And it did. You got the universal obstacles and attacks and weird stuff. But what's happening, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're starting to integrate and feel whole, more in control of yourself and what your direction is. You're not as fragmented with confusion. And your confidence levels have changed. Everybody goes through that, but it's more challenging from the age of about 27, 28 to 30. Then it pops into a whole new reality. You'll see in about 6 months and a year from now, it's all different. And you don't have to go through it again till you're 54.
Nice.
Yes, Saturn return.
Life is definitely better. I will say that. Life is definitely better. I'm very clear on at least the next few steps. So
well, I get a move, I get relocation, I get advancement, I get shifting with your priorities. We're looking at the name of the game is changing. You'll still do your shows, of course, because you're so good at tearing down the entertainment people with gossip. You love that. But you're going to expand in a much more, I want to say spiritual mode, kind of like you do here, but you're going to go beyond. You're still going to have your Saturday night thing going, a sex show, because you're so diverse and you're entrepreneurial. You're never satisfied. And that's very Taurian of you. Taurians always need excess, more. Give me more.
And more, yes.
Yeah, you're never satisfied. But that's what makes you unique. I have a Taurus moon, which I have that similar appetite. But being a Capricorn, I'm workaholic. I got to go and got to go and I got to go. And I'm twirling plates, you're twirling plates. A lot of people can't work. They can't do what you and I do. They can't function without being on a 9 to 5 or being told how, or
they never want to work. I'll just be honest. That never worked for me. Taking orders never worked for me. Like, I almost went to the military and then I knew that'd be a big mistake. I was just like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but it never worked. You know what it is? I don't respect anybody stupider than me. So it's like, how are you my boss and I know more than you?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get? And then later I learned that people, it ain't what you know, it's who you know. So
well, it's who you know or who you sleep with, or if it's nepotism, yes. Or it's not always what you've earned. A lot of the times, creatives like you and me, even though we're business, take twice as long to achieve a goal because we're creative or we're on our own and we don't have a whole wheel like some of the big families out there that are born with money, that make the money, work for their money to create more money. When you're just doing it on your own, you got to shuffle all the cards and twirl all the plates. And there's only so many hours in the day, but there's a satisfaction.
Yes.
Knowing you're doing it.
Yes. Yes, there is. And I will say, I'm very confident that I can pave whatever path that I want for myself. So
you've done amazing work. You've skyrocketed on YouTube. You have a name. People recognize you when you're out. You get invited to some cool events. Okay. True. You've created something from nothing other than an idea. And they always say, like, if God gave you an idea, he's given you the capability to follow through with it. So if we have a talent, don't start manifesting that word. Manifesting. No, you have an idea, you have a thought, you have a goal, you have an impetus to pursue something. Did you manifest it? Yeah, if you got off your butt and did something about it and chased the dream or chased the outcome or changed the effect.
Yes.
You didn't just manifest. You can't sit there, Storm, and go, it's coming. It's really going to be here. I'm going to get the degree. I'm going to get my certificate. I'm getting the BMW. Yes, you can envision.
I can do that. It's just not going to happen.
No, not without some work. Faith without works is dead. You got to do the work. God steers, he does not row. You ever heard that one?
Oh, no, but I like that.
He'll guide you if you follow his word and see the spiritual divine intervention around you. Open the doors. We have to walk through it. You got to pedal the boat. You got to pedal the boat. So what are you going to do for your big birthday? You're turning 30. You're traveling. You're having a party.
Yeah. I'm going to be in New York City, and I'm going to, just kind of gallivant around the city.
You're going to love it. I was just there a few months ago, and I know I introduced you to a few people that know you from the show that came to me. So it's going to come full circle, and you'll have a good time with them as well. But you're going to have a blast. You're going to come back exhausted. You're going to pack up. You're relocating. I'm not saying where because it's nobody's business. That's your thing, but I know. And it's a gorgeous apartment. I'm jealous. You deserve it. You deserve it. But your career is going to take off. You don't have to worry about your finances. Everything's going to fall into place. The struggles from 27, 28, 29, and the women and some of the games or some of the backstabbing or some of the BS you've gone through, a lot of that's going to calm down because the cream rises. You've watched other people fall as you keep going.
Yeah. And I will say I'm most excited for the money to come back.
Oh, it will. It will. Hey, you've had some money and success power candles. It opens doors when you light them. It starts to jumpstart some things.
It does. It does. A lot of times it'll come out of nowhere. It's kind of subtle. You'll forget about it, then be like, oh, okay. Yeah. And then it gets on a roll, kind of like
it does.
Yeah.
Yeah. People think you light one set of wicks of wisdom, and if this was a candle, they think, okay, candle one, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It didn't work. I said, well, do all three. Right. And then watch after a few weeks, it starts to kick in, or a few days. Everybody's different. Everybody sends me their pictures. Oh, it cracked, it smoked, the flame's big, the flame's little. People don't send me pictures of your candles. I know what they're doing. Just let it happen. And then, yes, the work will kick in. You just never know. I think when you get back, I'll just send you a set of money and success for your birthday.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will say, though, I remember even lighting the candles, and normally the first one is always explosive.
Because it's new energy.
Yeah. And then the second or third, it just depends. It could go either way. But
what Storm's talking about on my Wicks of Wisdom, the Candle Magic line, which you can go to lindasalvin.com, but that's how Storm found me. He was researching the Kardashians, and I had paid Kris Jenner $25,000 long before she was the momager. And she did my infomercial in 2006 about the Wicks of Wisdom. So you take a candle, there's oils and herbs and powders, and then there's a little petition where you write certain things certain words on a piece of paper, burn it. And sometimes it explodes, and sometimes it's loud, or sometimes, the candle's flame is huge because it's new energy at that moment. Then you're breaking through the spiritual side. Then candle 2 and 3 back it up, and all of a sudden you start seeing results, whether somebody calls or something's in the mail or some door opens up, or the opportunity, or if it's your love, or if it's your health, or if it's a legal thing, or to shut somebody up or push somebody out or to break them out. You got lots of different formulas out there to tackle health and wellness. You've done those.
Absolutely. But speaking of all things spiritual, we're in a Mercury retrograde.
Do you know what that means? Do you know how to define it?
Yeah, what does that mean?
Okay, it's complicated. You're not having an easy week, even though you're going to have a great week. Okay, last week was the solar eclipse, and the energy got a little funky and overwhelming. And then we went into the Mercury retrograde, which means the planet Mercury, which represents communication, appears to be going in a backward or reversed orbit. Looks like it, even though it's not. But during that, communication breaks down, technology gets wacky. Contracts break, or like a friend of mine was going to sign a new lease on a store that he wants to put his cookie store back into, and he said, no, I got to wait till May 15th because he knows somebody that lost $150,000 or more. Maybe it was $1 million when they signed something during a retrograde a few years ago. It all went belly up and they lost the money. It's a whole story. So you're not supposed to sign major contracts. It's not the best time to go through escrow, lease a car. You want to kind of wait until it's over. Why it happens like that, nobody really knows, but it interferes with the flow. So communication. In my neighborhood, the power went out in 4,200 homes a couple of weeks ago at the very beginning of what's called the shadow of the retrograde. So I thought, oh, here we go. And then I tripped my own electrical cord and blew the modem. So I had to get a new modem. Then my phone broke, had to go get a new phone, and I got through it. There are a few glitches in downloading and transferring the data from one phone to another, but got through that. Then communication, I would say 5 or 6 people out of nowhere from the past re-entered. So you think of RE words: reunion, reconcile, review, real estate,
return, literally.
Return. It is the return. People often return into your life. Now, I've got one client, I told her for 10 months this guy was coming back. And he did this last week. I said, don't sleep with them. Don't go fast. It's been 10 months. Well, Sunday, she couldn't wait. He said, let's get together. They got together. And then everything was fine. But then she said, am I going to see you when you get back from his trip? And he like backed off, like, well, don't push. And I guess that's why he pushed her away the first time, because she's right on top of him. So now she's writing and complaining. I think I blew it. He blocked me on Facebook. I hear this all the time, but then they'll unblock because they just want to cool down. But during a retrograde, this guy came back. I warned her, because of the retrograde especially, go slow. You don't have to jump him the first time you see him. I got drunk. I couldn't help it. Girls, ladies, if you want to get drunk, you're going to screw it up. They don't want us drunk. They want you. And then you don't need to be the flus that, oh, I got drunk, we had fun. No, it's not fun. They're not going to respect you as much. You can party, yeah, if that's the lifestyle you want. But you want the love life, it's not going to work that way. So the difference when you're really talking to somebody sober versus if you're inebriated, it's a little different communication and a little different intention. You can like them on all levels, but it depends, not after 10 months. She was a little too quick, too much, too soon, and now she's upset. I got to go help her with that after the show. But there's ways that this happened because of the retrograde. It was overwhelming, and then it bounced in and it bounced out. But a lot of it was because of her own actions, where she pushed the envelope a little too much, and he backed off like, whoa. But he was pushing her, and I understand it. But correct me if I'm wrong, because relationships from the male perspective. We as the women really are in control of you guys, because it's up to us to say yes or no, and you can come chase us.
True.
In the end, you may have the final say of ghosting, disappearing, sleeping with us, walking away, committing, whatever, but we still say yes or no. We're still like in control of you guys, right? So during the retrograde, it's magnified. Everything's magnified during a retrograde. It gets bigger, but more foggy because of the conflict of communication.
So even in the celebrity world, I see people are getting back together, and I'm like,
yes, there's reuniting. It's the reuniting, but then either a lot of it will stick, or we'll see how fast they bounce out, because that comes back in a retrograde as soon as it comes in, as quick it can go out, as quickly as it can go out. Or if it's really meant to be on a soul level, it came back at the right time because it's ready to replant and regenerate and review and release the anger and the resentment and forgive and make it work. There's an opportunity for both. But don't get drunk when you're trying to fix it.
Don't get drunk when you have to make a major decision, period.
There's a boundary. If you want to party, have fun, relax, whatever, but in excess, like this one girl, I think she kind of like turned the guy off. He was telling her how much he's missed her, couldn't stop thinking about her. Everything I told her he was thinking, he verbalized. And I'm not saying this just because of her, because this happens a lot. So whoever's listening, and you kind of get into that funky zone, and then you wonder why he didn't call, or why did he disappear, or why did he ghost me, or what's the other one? Whatever all these terms are between ghosting and just disappearing. It's because you turned them off. Well, what is it about me? And I'm not going to get into all their details as to why they got turned off. But not every guy's going to like every girl.
Sometimes it's not you, it's just your actions. And so,
it's the actions, or they don't feel it, or they've had enough, or they milked the cow already, or they don't need more. They're not looking for love, right?
True.
But during a Mercury retrograde, a lot of people meet in bars or clubs or online. They get together once or twice, and it's okay during the retrograde. Then it falls out after the retrograde, and sometimes it'll come back through the next retrograde. So everything's got a cycle. You right now are going through a major shift with your birthday, the end of Saturn return. Now, just because your Saturn return ends on Friday, the 28th, does not mean you're going to wake up on Saturday totally rejuvenated. Do not think it's an overnight shift.
Right.
Please, okay, Storm. Right. I know what you're doing Friday night. You're probably not going to get up right away Saturday morning, but the next 6 months will be like you came out of the looking glass. You're coming into a whole new world. Your 30s is a whole new platform. If we go back to the 7-year cycle of life, it's 0 to 7, 7 to 14, 14 to 21, 21 to 28, which of what you're in the 28 to 35 7-year cycle. So you're going to be right smack in the middle of where you're headed into your 30s. So by the time you hit 35 to 42, it's another level of success, opportunity. I think marriage and kids by then.
You and this
I know. You can't see it right now. That's a long-term prediction. So you got about 8 years. We'll worry about it then.
I'll pass.
Yeah, no commitment right now, right? So your Saturn return, can you explain to people some of the obstacles you may have felt, knowing that Saturn return kind of makes decision processes a little more difficult or challenging to get things done or break down walls? I mean, it's a harder time of life, and it's like being in the spin cycle of the washer. You can't help it. It's just what happens. Then it calms down again, and you can just live life.
You just have to kind of ride the wave and know that it's going to be okay. I would definitely say, I mean, if I had not been told what it was, I would not have even known. The biggest thing for me the last few years are just relationships have broken down. So people that you think are going to stick around, they don't.
And if you go Google Saturn return, it will talk about nothing's really stable during that time. People come and go. And most marriages, statistically, I can go Google it, but I don't want to take the time. They say most marriages, if you get married between 28 and 30, statistically, the divorce rate is higher because you're going through so much change and growth at that time. It's those people who work really hard and deep and stay committed, work through it and elongate their marriage 20, 30, 40, 50. My parents were 58 years, right? Yeah. So they had to work hard during those times. They got married at 19 and 20, and they were in their 70s, and my mom died. So it's possible. And back then, I doubt they talked astrologically in our family because I know that wasn't hip. But when you're challenged in any relationship, the bottom line is communication. It's always communication.
Yes.
People are afraid to admit, I feel this, I feel that, I resent, I'm fearful, you made me feel angry, I'm upset, I'm happy, I'm joyous. And there's all sorts of feelings, but we just assume looking at everybody, they got it together. They can't possibly feel bad. Or they
and it's that's not how that works. People can smile and commit suicide the next day. That's not how that works. You know?
Yeah, people
So
never know. We're just wearing a mask, no pun intended, but
we are.
nobody knows the inside movie in our brains and what we're thinking or the negativity in the morning till you can work it. With me anyway, I can come in and wake up in the morning and there'll be some negativity and oh, there it goes. It's just the chatter until I work it through like with prayer or a meditative statement. It's like, okay, stop the anxiety. That's not true. No, that was 40 years ago in college or whatever's happening. And then I
Exactly.
get back to my day. Get up. I exercised today, worked out, went and had my nails done, been in meetings all day long. It goes on. But sometimes waking up is the hardest part.
It is. It is. I absolutely agree. I will say, because I mean, we all have relationships with different people, right?
Of
It's not
course,
just
that's
romantic.
life. Life is a relationship.
I will say, people, from what I see, are mad at people for not meeting expectations that are not articulated. So I'm mad
True.
at you that you're not doing something that you don't even know I need or want you to do.
Right, because we never expressed it.
You never expressed it. I
Or we
just
can be
assumed,
obsessed or thinking or how come he or she
yes.
did or didn't. And I'm like, blah, blah. Do they know that you feel this or need that or want that?
They may not even be aware that they're doing something, like doing something wrong. It all comes down to just communication.
Communication.
Yeah,
Yeah. If people are just having friends with benefits and he doesn't know that you're really falling in love with them, thinking that sleeping with them is going to change it, it's not going to change it.
I'm gonna change it. It
It
doesn't
is what
work.
it is.
I will say too, because I have
It
friends.
can change. It can evolve, but most of the time it doesn't.
Most of the time, it doesn't. I will say I have friends that are in a relationship a situationship,
So
and
what's
it's like
that?
situationship is like we don't really want to define it, but we act like a couple, but we aren't a couple.
Okay, so especially if you need to go out in public or do a red carpet or an event, we take that guy or girl with us and it's fun and we look good and people think we're together, but we're really not, or one's gay and one's straight or one's bi or one's this and one's that, but they're still together out there. Is that what you're saying?
No. It's kind of
I don't know.
it's kind of what you described before. So let's say you want a relationship, but I don't, but we're still sleeping together. And I'm
Gotcha. Okay.
on to think I might eventually be ready.
Yeah,
But
the longer I sleep with you, I know you're going to fall in love with me because I'm the best girl that you've ever had and the best mate for you. And I know I'm it. And deep inside, I know I'm not it because you treat me like crap the rest of the time I'm not in bed with you. That happens too. It's like you're here or we can talk. Well, how come you're not calling? How come you're not taking me to dinner? How come, oh, maybe you're having an affair. And I have to explain to people, well, he comes over. Yeah. And does he take you out? What does he do on your birthday, Valentine's, Christmas, like some of the important dates of your life? Nothing. You mean you get no presents or he doesn't call? Well, he's married. Well, no kidding. I mean,
he's cheating on you with his wife.
Is he going to leave her? Most likely not. 90% no. There are those that I've seen leave the spouse for another when they find the soulmate. It has happened. So some of my parents' dearest friends were both married to different spouses, met at a party. They even look alike. They knew they were twins. And they separated from, I think they were in their 20s or 30s back, 50 years ago. And they let go of their families and married. It does happen. I've got a family in Australia. Same thing. Two people met, had an affair. They broke up their families. They've been together for years. I walked her through it. I remember I still talk to her and they're happy. When you find the soulmate, when you find the true person for you, not just someone to hang out with, have sex with, and go to the movies with, but it's got to be deeper where you see a life partner and companion. Nobody's going to be the exact you.
True.
And you want to have certain things in common, but you also want to have your own life because you can't be with them 24/7. And there's a lot of people that go nuts if they don't hear from somebody within 3 hours. I'm dealing with one right now. It's like, where is she? Where is she? I'm like, you got to calm down. She's got kids. She's got a job. She's got this. She's got that. But she's with you almost every night. Relax. It's not, this guy will push her away because he's so angst and obsessive. So you got to learn the balance. Soulmates are varied. where you got a karmic, you got the companion relationship where you can be best of friends, talk about everything, do things together, but you'll never have sex. It just doesn't go there. But you can be with them forever in life. And you've had past life occurrences and relationships and incarnations. The karmic relationships of most of the ones that get married, when we have mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects of self in a karmic relationship, usually 2 or 3 of those aspects are connected. And the challenge is getting the 4th one. But when you meet your twin, you've got mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional that just is like that Cupid's arrow hits you in the heart and you cannot get away from it. You can go across the planet and you'll feel it. You'll have astral sex. You'll have telecommunication, telepathic communication, excuse me. You'll feel him or her thinking about you at the most odd moments in time. And a lot of times it's like, I'm going to use you as an example, but this, folks, do not read into this. This is not how it works between Storm and me. But if Storm and I were in a relationship and I was driving to Costco or whatever, or the gas station, and all of a sudden I heard storm, 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 like a mantra. Could be some guy going Susie, 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 or whatever's going on. That's them thinking of you, or he's thinking of me. That's real, and that's where the telepathic connection on a spiritual level, astral level starts when you become aware. There's a big difference between the obsessiveness and the spiritual astral part. You can be in bed. This happens to me all the time with one person in particular. I can be there and man, I feel sexual and horny and passionate. I'm like, oh, here he goes again. And it's been going on because it's still on the astral level spiritually from a past life. I know this person in real life. I know when we get together, it's so overwhelming. Sometimes I can't even talk. And then it calms back down. But when we're apart, because he's at work or I'm at work or I'm traveling and we start thinking of each other, it's like, it's powerful. It's very powerful. If you're in one of those relationships, ask your partner, were you thinking about me at 3 o'clock? Or pick up the phone or text, oh, I can feel it. And most of the time they'll say, yeah, I was. You can test it. You can test it. But listen in the mind. Different from obsessiveness. The obsessiveness makes you really crazy and do weird things. But when you're in the middle of nowhere or cooking or taking a shower, when you least expect it, all of a sudden it starts. That's them, whoever he or she is in your world, thinking of you. Just like when you get that hit, like, oh God, I haven't heard from so-and-so. There's the phone call.
Or and then they call us the weirdest thing.
It is. You get that hint, right?
Yes.
Or God, I haven't. They said they were going to email me, but they haven't sent that email. It's been like 3 hours. When I'm going to get it? And then all of a sudden it pops up because you felt them or heard their name and it finally crossed. So that's how people can open up more spiritually to feel the energy. All we are in humans is energy, but it depends on where we're putting it. So energy with Saturn return every 28 to 30 years. Starts at about 27, 53, 75 or something. I have to learn for the 70s. I'm not there yet. But and then the Mercury retrograde. Remember, folks, Mercury retrograde, like we were talking about, happens about 3 times a year because the planet Mercury goes around the sun about every 3.5 months. So we're always going through it. Sometimes it's more intense than others. Sometimes it starts out with a bang and then it comes down, then it explodes. Just have to learn how to like hold on when you're going through it. Storms coming through like a cannonball. You're finally coming out of this vortex of Saturn return, turning 30, which is a milestone. Sure. But you're doing it during a Mercury retrograde. So not that you're going to have problems on the plane or at dinner at the restaurant and all this stuff, but there will be a few hiccups. And I want to hear what those are if you experience them. It'll just be interesting to see what might have been a little out of the ordinary, but you might want to blame it on the retrograde rather than just circumstance. Certain things, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you're going to have a blast and everybody's going to be there for you.
It'll be nice. It'll be nice for sure. I did want to say, wait, I think I lost my train of thought there.
About the soulmates, communication?
No. Oh God, no, not the soulmates.
Sex?
No, not that.
I want to talk about sex again.
Oh, the Saturn return. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, yeah, the biggest thing is just the biggest difference I notice is you just feel very confident in whatever you're doing or whatever
It
place you are in
changes
life.
as you mature. You're no longer in grammar school, high school, college. You're not quite the adult in your 20s, but you think it's all got to happen in your 20s or else. But then you get closer to 30 and you're starting to feel better and you think, wow, it's just beginning. And you've probably heard many times life begins at 40, and it does. It does. It does. It does. I didn't believe it until I got there. I had one girl I read yesterday who's 26 and cannot believe I told her she won't get married until her 30s. She was like off the charts. So, what do you mean? I'll be so old. I said, you have no idea how young you are and what's going to happen. But of course, she hates me because it all has to be now. I said, but you don't understand. You got your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, your 70s, your 80s. You got a long life ahead of you. Let
Yes.
your career go get your nursing degree, finish this. That'll happen. Don't worry about the love life. Everybody has to have the guy and the girl now. And then a lot of people, like in their 20s, who get divorced in their early 30s because of what happens in the Saturn return when you're growing and sprouting and you're going in different directions. You realize, oh my God, I married the wrong girl, or got this one pregnant, and I've got 3 kids over here, but I was young. And because we do stupid things when we're young, thinking
True.
we know everything.
Yeah, no children over here. Thank God.
That you know of.
I know. Oh, no, I'm sure. I am sure. If they say they got pregnant by me, they lie.
When the twin soul comes in, you got the companion, you got the karmic, and then you got the twin. When that twin hits, there's a feeling of Cupid's arrow. There's a feeling that you can't sleep, you can't walk, you can't talk, you can't put it together. It's past life. It's remember, people, our minds have past life memory. Our soul has memory. We stimulate it when we meet that person from another life, and then we zing. Or it's like sometimes I'll look at somebody from past life and it's almost like a kaleidoscope. I'm getting weird images like in and out of my body, or I see a soul outside his body, like it's distorted. Or even though somebody might be 6 feet tall, but I see him as 7'5". It's like big. Have you ever had that happen where you see somebody they're kind of not quite the same size they were last time you saw them? That's when you're seeing their soul storm. You're seeing their aura. You're seeing who they are from a spiritual perspective. Watch it when you're really attracted to some girl, and someday you're going to see her like maybe she's 5'3", and next time you're going to think she's taller than you because you'll see her energy field. You'll see her spirit outside, and you'll think twice, but it's all real. It's the perception, and then it's the souls communicating with their soul. It's really a fun dynamic to watch. And as you get older, you'll see it more because you've opened up so much spiritually over the last couple of years that I've been working with you and knowing you versus all the other people you work with. You've done a lot because you're so hungry. You're very advanced. A lot of people have no clue yet.
That is true. That part of, and I will say this, I've never felt this overwhelming, like I'm just so drawn to, I've never felt this. So when I
Oh,
feel
you
it,
will.
I'll let everybody know.
No,
Um,
we'll do a whole show on that. You will. It'll happen. It
yeah,
will happen. You'll call and say, "Oh my God, it finally happened," and then I'll say, "I
oh,
told you." When it
I just,
happens, it
I just can't
bites.
even see myself being like a sap and just,
No,
oh,
you won't be a sap.
I'm just so, I can't live without you. Oh God.
Oh, it's gonna happen.
I'm a pessimist, so
Oh, that's Taurus.
we will see.
You're more reserved, more cognitive that way. You're more like, I'm not going to get any expectations. But when it does happen, because there's been a couple of girls you've questioned me. Well, what about this one? What do you think about that one? Well, okay, for now. Now.
Yeah, I mean, but that's how I feel about everybody. Like, yeah,
For
no,
now.
but nothing where I'm just like, I just, when I see people like get stuck on people or they can't let people go, I'm just like, what is wrong with you? Like, let it go.
Now,
Like,
that's the difference between spiritually hearing like the mantra of somebody versus the obsessive, possessive end. Okay. Because I deal with that for those that don't know, I'm a psychic healer and a medium, but doing this for like 30 years, 35 years and helping people. But when you can't let go, it's the fear of being abandoned. It's the fear of not having. It's the fear of being alone. It's the fear of losing the person of your dreams. If it's really meant to be, it's going to be there no matter how much you hold on or bang on the door or walk away. It'll come back if it's meant to be as that person goes through their growth. Remember, you're not the only one growing. All 7 billion people are growing, whether or not they want to admit it or how deep they go or what they're into. We're on different levels. But when you meet somebody, it charges or opens or stimulates growth. If it's meant to be, you can be friends for 45 years, or you might be friends for 2 days or an hour. You meet them at the club. Oh my God, we had such a connection. Where'd you meet him? At the bar. Is he going to call?
No. You were drunk. Congratulations. Yeah, but sometimes they do. Maybe that could be the love of it.
It could, and sometimes it does, and sometimes it plays out, but it normally, as a rule, doesn't. But I know several couples who met in the bar, fell in love, and they're still together. So you can't say never. But statistically, the average is no, it's the bar scene, it's the one night stand, or maybe it'll last, 3 weeks, a month at the most, maybe 2 months. I don't even know what average is.
I mean, that, and I just think people, I'll just wrap it up by saying, I just think a lot of people honestly are caught up in the sex. I think
it is the sex, but the women think sex is love, and the guys know sex is sex. We as women don't see it that way. We figure if we're going to sleep with you, you've got to love us. And it's not, I forget the hormone, and it's not
I can sleep with anything.
What?
I can sleep with anything. I don't have.
You want a blow-up doll? Should I get you a blow-up doll for your birthday?
I'll take one. Why not? Right? Men don't have that. Like, it's different for us. That's the best way I can put it.
Well, you put it. Yeah, you put it all right. You guys do put it, and we take it. We absorb it. We inhale it.
I mean, if you guys have seen some of the things I've done in these clubs, you would be like,
I want to hear about it. You want to talk about it? It's just be general.
In general, just, not only like the orgies are just like very unattractive people that I would never claim in real life. Men don't have standards sexually.
No, they don't. They don't. They just want to find a place to put it.
And then after that, you come down, and then you're like, "Oh God, what did I do?"
Right.
Oh man, yeah.
No, I was reading something on Reddit that one guy and his wife got into swinging, and his wife had something like 48 men come and do her one night, and she was having a blast, and he was, after a while, got a little jealous. I thought, after a while, 48 women. I mean, men, maybe women. I don't know who she was with, but that's their lifestyle. But then, yeah, to each his own. Everybody does that. But
after man number 15, damn it.
After 15, hey, dude, hey, you're my wife. But the guys, I don't think cared. It was just a piece of woman being there, and they needed sex. But
I have engaged like with couples as well, where it's just I'm brought in. It feels like I'm being sold, but I'm brought in just to
have sex. Yeah, but you're putting yourself in that club because that's why you're there, is to solicit sex. That's the swingers thing. But if some people go into a club, or some girls think, I'm going to go to a club, I'm going to go to the bar, I'm going to meet the man of my dreams. No, he's sitting on a bar stool. He's probably had 12 drinks. He's drunk as a skunk. Probably can't get it up or perform anyway. Wow. And then he falls off the chair when he's trying to talk to you, or he's snoring. But, that's the guy I'm going to marry. I don't think.
Like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You know what would be hilarious, and I'm sure it's happened. But like, to meet your spouse in a sex club and be like, when people ask, how did you meet? Well,
in a swingers club, yeah.
We had sex right away and then it worked. I don't know.
Maybe it's known to happen. That would be a good research project. I just don't have time to take on anymore, but I'm sure somebody's done the research. I'm sure there's some people that actually met that way. The good news is they're both into the same thing, just like nudists meet at a nudist colony. You know, I have a friend that's in Florida. She's always invited me to come down to visit where she is and all the guys. I'm like, it doesn't turn me on. I don't want to be at a nudist colony. And I've looked at some of those men. She sent me pictures. I'm like, oh my God, no. They're not for me. That's not my style. Sorry.
Like, it's not my thing.
No. But everybody's got their thing. You know, if you feel comfortable with your body, great. If that's how you want to live your life, I don't care how you live your life. But if you're going to come to me for advice or go to Storm for advice, find your boundaries. Just like when they come to you for starting a YouTube channel. What do you want to do? I don't know. You know, we've gone through that a few times. But when it comes to the Mercury retrograde, especially, let's get back to seriousness for a moment. The retrograde can be an illusion. It can return things. It can rectify things. It can reconcile. And it can make things really wacky, where it's just a tumultuous time. So this one goes through May 14th, and then there's a shadow. And after the shadow, which is a good 6-7 day period, so into maybe around May 20th, will be a little bumpy. Then summer's going to be a breeze. And then the next one will probably start at the end of August. I haven't really checked the map or the report as to when it hits, but it's every 3 months, 3.5 months. So we'll go through it again, and we can talk about it then. And depending when you were born, if you were born in a retrograde, some people don't even feel it. But if, like, we're in Taurus, so you're a Taurus, I'm a Capricorn with Mars in Taurus, with Moon in Taurus. So I'm a little more attached to it, where I'm not going to be as overwhelmed because I'm in the Earth sign energy to begin with. Last month we were in Aries, and that was fire, and that was bumpy, and that was uncomfortable. What's wrong with your shoulder?
Oh no, just got like a muscle thing going on.
Well, maybe you've got somebody from the other side kind of tapping you. Hey, dude, you might have a ghost.
That's all I need right now is a ghost in my back.
You might have a ghost. The birds aren't chirping.
True.
I can't hear them. Your little birds on the ceiling.
No. I took it down. I took it all down. I was like, I can't take this.
Yeah, no, when those batteries go in the smoke alarms, they go chirp, chirp, chirp. They're annoying.
They're annoying. It's pretty bad. But
I can't wait to watch you go through the next 24 months. Not even, I'm going to say 16 months. It's going to be a whole new thing. And then 16 months from now, when you're almost 31 on your way to 32, then it's going to be like this crown around you where it all fits. You'll see. You're going to go up this. Yeah, I see it.
I can't wait. Well, let's tell the people where they can find and follow you.
They can follow me at Dr. Linda Salvin on YouTube, and Storm's going to be back on my show in a couple of weeks after the retrograde. I'll have him back on, Dr. Linda Salvin, every Thursday, but it's going to now be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Watch for that. Go subscribe, or just go to my website, lindasalvin.com. And we now have drlindaradio.com, so you can just listen to my radio shows streaming 24/7. It's all there. Send me an email, and if you heard the show, you'll get a discount. Just mention you saw me on the Storm Spiritual Connection show. Soul Connection.
Soul Connection. There
Soul
we go.
Connection. You're having a birthday.
I am. Birthday is Friday. And so yeah, I'm
Watch
excited.
out, New York.
Oh God, I know.
We're gonna have a great time. But I'll talk to you before then. Everybody, wish Storm a happy birthday. Send him a birthday message on the chat here. And again, if you need me, Dr. Linda Salvin at YouTube or lindasalvin.com. You have a great time, and I'll see you when you are older.
I know.